Hi, I'm going to try to do this fast. We'll see if I can do it. And I'm already stuck. Last night in Noodle Mash's video, she spoke of Mrs. P looking in her windows for Christmas decorations. Now it's Christmas decorations. That is because, hold on. That is because, or I shouldn't say because, it happened 2 days after after Noodle Mash moved into the complex. 2 days. And that's when Noodle Mash's obsession began. Sure, you know, it wasn't the smartest thing to do, or the most appropriate, I should say. It's nothing to do with smart. But Noodle Mash wrote about it, and I have seen it, but she won't put it back up on her wall. She took it down, and yeah, she wrote about it at the time. Okay, so there's that. 2 days after Noodle Mash moved in. So, okay, next thing. It just speaks to the obsession and when it started. 2 days. In fact, she's spoken of 2 days, that everything was fine for 2 days, and then it wasn't because somebody looked in her window. People look in my windows all the time, and I don't have any issue with it whatsoever. Okay, oh, this is a mess. Noodle Mash said that she never was fighting, as Mrs. P said. That's likely mostly correct. But what she was doing was texting and messaging and running her mouth outside and gossiping and, you know, infiltrating and giving away all the information she knew about Mrs. P already, and they were giving her information about the problems caused in the complex and just feeding into Noodle Mash's obsession. Well, she was deliberately seeking to do that. Okay, another thing. So, yeah, it wasn't fighting, but I know this is a disaster. I can't speak into a phone. Excuse me. Okay, so then Noodle Mash said, when she first came here, and this is a big deal to her, she was in Mrs. P's chat. I wonder how many lives that was for. I wonder if anybody has it. I wonder if Noodle Mash would provide it. I'd like to see the dates of when she was here on Mrs. P's lives. Really, I would like to see it. I'm sure she screenshot it. Has anyone else? How many times? I think that was a case to make for Noodle Mash that she was friends with Mrs. P, which she wasn't, because she said that. She wasn't friends when... Oh, wait. Okay, I should get to that too. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that I'm all over the place. Let's see. She said last night that when Mrs. P moved, they were out waving. It sort of got a little bit more exaggerated than the last time, but it seems they were outside waving. And, well, Mrs. P, don't forget, did not live near Noodle Mash. Noodle Mash makes a very firm point about that. In fact, she used that point to poke and provoke Mrs. P early on, for months, in fact. We did not share an apartment wall. That was a big, big deal. Okay, so they were outside waving, even though Noodle Mash couldn't walk there and it was too far away. She certainly didn't walk and see the note on the door because it was too far away, or she doesn't go there, or she avoided her, but they waved. Well, I would like to know, because Noodle Mash said it and I have it in a video on my channel, why Noodle Mash called the apartment manager the day Mrs. P moved. What possible reason could there be to call the apartment manager on Mrs. P? That's a little bit sus. No, it's not a little bit. It's enormously sus. So that they waved means nothing. Maybe the whole apartment complex was out there waving, because what you said last night was a little bit more, as I said, exaggerated. Okay, now we're going to go back to, what was it I was talking about when I cut myself off? Okay, so she was in Mrs. P's chat, but she also told us that she laid in bed for Thanksgiving and Christmas because she was having a tough time. It was the time when she hated everybody. She wasn't there for her friends or anybody. So she said, I hated everybody. But anyway, so she was in bed feeling sorry for herself or whatever, but she was also checking out the community. And as soon as she wasn't in Mrs. P's chat anymore because she told Mrs. P what to do, then she went to Natasha's chat. Now, how did she know about that? Well, because she studied for 2 months in bed. She told us this, okay? The whole thing was a setup. It was a setup that I was friends with Mrs. P in the same way that she called Mrs. P, who she was not friends with at all, and told her about her best friend, Noodle Mash's best friend, passing away. She fell, she had an injury, complications, and she passed away. She lived in the complex. Yes, she did. She was not friends with Mrs. P. Obviously, Noodle Mash is not going to be friends with anyone who's friends with Mrs. P. And Noodle Mash had been friends with this woman since Noodle Mash was 17. The woman was older. So, yeah, she called. It's all in the video that I have on my channel. It is boring, I know. Well, there's 2 of them, and they overlap a bit. But there was no reason for Noodle Mash to call and tell Mrs. P that her best friend died. Okay? And she did that to establish contact, to establish a connection, to say, see, we're friends, we're friendly. Except Noodle Mash said in the video I have on my channel, she said, I didn't want to be friends with her like that. In other words, she said that because she wasn't going to continue contact with Mrs. P. She didn't want to be friends with her like that. But then she was in her chat. And when was that? I really want to know. And how many times? I really want to know. And then, boom, she was with Natasha. And she learned from 2 months studying in bed when she hated everybody that, and so she didn't have to make Thanksgiving dinner, and she didn't have to host Christmas dinner, or John had to do all the work, because poor Noodle, she learned about Natasha. In fact, she copied Natasha, and she still does to this day. She wants to be Natasha. So, yeah, there's that. That was all a construct and a way to manipulate the courts that she was friends with Mrs. P when she first came here. It was very quickly that she switched it around and started provoking Mrs. P. In fact, it was, let's say, immediately. But I want to know how much sooner, how much before her first video, Noodle Mashes, was she in Mrs. P's chat? And how many times? Can anybody tell me that? All right, anything else? No, I think that's about it. So, the apartment windows, 2 days after Noodle Mash moved in. And big deal. They were unpacking. But notice, that's something she wants to use, very much so, isn't it? Yeah. She also did some cherry picking again last night. Mrs. P said this, or Mrs. P said that. She's doing it with Trisha now, just as she did it with Wild Scott, Aurora, and myself. naming us in court. She's going to do that with Trisha now. Link them together so that she can hurt Mrs. P with other names and then come after the other names using Mrs. P. I was going to say something else about that and it left my head. That was a lie, by the way, the wishbone comment and linking us. That Mrs. P is asking someone to help her, okay, or it may seem like she is. It doesn't mean that I didn't even hear it, quite frankly. And it doesn't mean that the person is offering to do something to NM on behalf of Mrs. P. What else did I want to say about that? Oh, there were, in that wishbone, I also have a video about that on my channel, if you want to see that video. In that video about the wishbone, there were 3 people. Yes, 3. One of them, but the name wasn't named, but it was insinuated, was Amy. But she didn't name Amy in court, did she? No. No, she didn't. And she's sitting with Amy now. That says something. And everybody knows it's Amy. Okay, she's sitting with Amy now. Friends with Amy now. One of the people who Noodle Mash said is going to break her like a wishbone. So that's all I have. Sorry about the mess of it. Yeah. Okay. Any questions I've asked, anybody could answer them. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Bye.